Good evening and welcome. I'm Michael Usher and here's the latest this Friday evening. As we go to air tonight, a ferocious storm is lashing Queensland, houses destroyed, 50,000 homes without power. Our reporter's life in the area worst affected. Just moments ago, Pope Francis made some groundbreaking remarks, vowing the Catholic Church will never again cover up cases of clergy sex abuse. And he didn't stop there. We're live to Europe. Breaking news, China's audacious hack attack, stealing Australia's secrets and potentially jobs. Our cybersecurity boss calls it, quote, massive and breathtaking. He's here with an important warning for us all. Developing now, a search is underway in Melbourne as we go to air for this man who police say is responsible for bashing two elderly men in a cruel attack. Our reporter standing by with the urgent appeal from police. Plus, Steve Smith reveals what really happened in South Africa. We have the late-breaking analysis on the banned cricketer's explosive interview. Good evening. Let's get straight to Queensland, where thousands have just been hammered by a ferocious storm. Simon Love is live for us in Kalbar, a town southwest of Brisbane. That's one of the areas hardest hit. Simon, as we show everyone at home the latest pictures, just give us a sense of what it's like on the ground and very obvious damage behind you right now.
I'm here now with Rod and Maya Bickley, who actually are the caretakers here at the Kalbar Showgrounds. Tell us, guys, what was this storm like when it came through? To you first.
I've never struck anything more devastating.
That's it. The great spirit here in Kalbar. Thank you very much for joining us tonight there, Rod, and Maya Bickley there. Michael, one of the towns
Simon,
hit by this storm.
Simon, let me just cut in briefly.
System.
Let me ask those people what it's like, because it's deadly still there right now. That must be quite eerie in a sense after what they've just experienced.
Yeah, Rod, if you've got to just come back, if you would, Rod, is it quite eerie here now? I mean, we've still seen a little, couple of thunderclaps and that sort of thing, but this is the eeriness after the storm, isn't it?
The moment it's the quiet before the next storm.
Look, and the pictures that we're showing on the screen too of the widespread effects of that storm are quite remarkable. There will be a clean-up in the morning and many more stories to tell. Simon Love, thank you for getting into that damage zone for us this evening. Well, now to a story breaking at the Vatican. Just moments ago, Pope Francis vowed that the Catholic Church will never again, this is an extraordinary statement, cover up cases of clergy sex abuse. He also told priests who have raped, molested children to turn themselves in. Our Europe Bureau Chief Hugh Whitfield is live for us this evening in London. Hugh, let's go to you. And I'm grabbing a whole lot of notes as we speak because that statement out of the Vatican was quite extensive. We've just printed it out and it's been translated. This appears to be, Hugh, the first such blanket command, and a significant one, of any pontiff.
Yeah, and Michael, it follows years of criticism of Pope Francis that he's essentially had his head in the sand on this issue. This was an address, his yearly Christmas address to bishops and cardinals. Yeah,
in the strongest possible wording that we've heard. OK, Hugh Whitfield in London, thank you for that. To a developing story out of Canberra tonight and what could potentially be the biggest hack attack the West has ever seen. For the first time, our government has publicly slammed Chinese authorities for hacking into Australian businesses and stealing valuable information which could cost local jobs. US authorities were the first to detect the breach during a top-secret investigation. And joining me from Canberra for the latest is National Cyber Security Advisor Alistair McGibbon. Alistair, thanks so much for joining the latest this evening. Could I begin by just asking you, please, to, if you can, characterise the nature of the businesses that have been affected in Australia and who's actually been affected, as in consumers or people down the line?
Well, we've identified a number of victim companies in Australia. All
right, Alistair McGibbon, thank you so much for explaining this evening.
Thanks, and Merry Christmas.
Indeed, likewise. Breaking news now, an apartment building in Sydney has been evacuated after 6 cars caught fire under very suspicious circumstances. Fire crews, paramedics and police are at the scene, along with our reporter Alex Hart. Alex, let's go straight to you. What's going on there?
Yeah, good evening, Michael. A very bizarre set of circumstances here in Artarmon, just the inner northern suburbs of Sydney. This is the apartment building. Residents have told me that just a couple of weeks ago there was actually a dead body found in this car. Now, it seems as though at this stage this is being treated as suspicious. We saw a man being taken into custody here when we arrived, and also a woman has been treated, we believe, possibly for smoke inhalation, maybe shock. One of the other people who was in this building is Irene. She's with me now. Irene, tell us what happened here earlier tonight.
We just smelled actually we heard the smoke alarm come on, and I opened the front door and it was just smoke all around the hall.
Yeah, Irene, a very scary night. Thanks so much for your time, Michael. So, a very bizarre set of circumstances, like I said, a lot still to play out in the investigation here.
Indeed, some work for police ahead. OK, Alex Hart in Sydney, thank you for that. Let's get an update now on the other headlines around the country. A brief wrap around. A Brisbane woman tonight proving not all heroes wear capes. Loki Kuroi's sports car was stolen from Upper Kedron in the city's north, along with electronics and Christmas presents. Now, police made several arrests and recovered most of her belongings, but her Skyline still at large until she tracked down her prize vehicle herself, and she made a dramatic citizen's arrest. There you go. The damage bill is continuing to soar tonight following that most recent catastrophic Sydney storm, which has now moved north, as we saw earlier, and you saw it live here last night. So far, there have been at least 25,000 claims made and over $125 million in damage. Thousands of roofs, awnings and solar panels suffered significant damage from the hail. It's feared the full cost of the carnage may not be known for weeks. It is now the fifth natural event declared a catastrophe in Australia this year, along with bushfires, a cyclone and flooding along the country's east coast. And there's a fresh development in the teacher's pet case. Accused wife killer Chris Dawson will spend another night behind bars this evening after his bail documents were rejected by a court in Sydney. So for those keeping tally, that will be night number 17 in prison. He was due to be released this afternoon and our reporters were on standby, but there was an issue or some sort of bungle with the paperwork. Dawson's lawyer will try again tomorrow morning. Well, former Australian cricket captain Steve Smith has spoken out about the ball tampering scandal that derailed his career, revealing how he turned a blind eye to cheating in South Africa this year. Have a listen. OK, let's bring in Peter Lawler, the chief cricket writer for the Australian newspaper this evening. Peter, good evening. Thanks for being in the studio.
Evening.
What did this do for Steve Smith today? Did it get him onto a path for redemption or not?
On a path to redemption? Well, it was a tentative step onto the public stage, wasn't it? I reckon the path to redemption's pitted with a few pit holes.
So very briefly, Steve Smith back in a capacity wearing the baggy green representing Australia. When? How long? What do you think?
Oh, he'll be back very soon. He may well be playing a one-dayer within a day of being reinstated.
There you go. A better performance than appearing in a phone ad a couple of days ago, right? That's the reaction. Peter Lawler, good on you. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks,
talking
Michael.
to us this evening. Appreciate it. Well, still to come on the latest, we're live to Washington as the sun comes up on day 699 of Donald Trump's presidency, but inside the White House it's anything but sunny. The fallout and the bizarre tweet following the shock resignation of his defence chief is after the break. Plus, we'll take you back live to Queensland, as we saw at the start of the show, with late-breaking details, more incredible footage of tonight's epic storm there. All of that as the latest continues on this Friday evening. Welcome back, or bonsoir, as they'll be saying in Paris right now. 1:24 in the afternoon, they're just after lunchtime, as they get off to a wet and cloudy start to their Friday afternoon. Now, here at home in our capital cities, there's our weather now. A sunny Perth tomorrow, reaching a blistering hot 39 degrees. Elsewhere cooler, with the risk of some showers around. Pretty stormy around Brisbane, of course. And in other regional areas, a wet and cloudy day for most, with temperatures from the lower 20s to mid-30s expected. Now, a quick look at some vision just into the newsroom. 'Tis the season to get into a brawl, it seems, as tempers flared and punches were thrown inside Ukraine's parliament. The fight broke out over a poster calling for the prosecution of a Ukrainian politician who has ties to Russian President Vladimir Putin. That is a hotbed issue in that country. It's not the first time things have turned violent during Ukraine's parliamentary sessions, with fistfights becoming somewhat of a tradition in recent years, and a lot of tension with Russia. And just imagine this as you head to bed tonight. You finally plucked up the courage to propose to your loved one and you've organised the hot air balloon for a magical morning in Melbourne, but then it crashes into a tree. Shouldn't laugh, but that's exactly what happened for three couples in Eltham earlier today. Luckily, everyone who was caught up in the drama is back home safely tonight and celebrating those three engagements, and there were no serious injuries. So it ended up to be a good day. And these are fantastic images that came in late this afternoon. After 44 years of devoted service for the Parramatta Police Area Command, Sergeant William Percival retired with a march out this afternoon. And current and former colleagues, along with the pipe band there, other officers from across Sydney, lined the streets of Parramatta to honour Sergeant Percival, who was described as a loyal and a dedicated officer. So, happy retirement to him. A look ahead to the stories we're following overnight as we head towards weekend sunrise at 7 a.m. tomorrow. Southeast Queensland battered from that epic storm tonight that we've been reporting. The clean-up is only just beginning. It's going to be a long night. We're monitoring reaction to the Pope's groundbreaking comments vowing that the Catholic Church will never again cover up clergy sex abuse. A huge statement. And police are investigating a suspicious fire in Artarmon in New South Wales. Before we go this evening, our final frame. Kurt Fearnley. There it is. What a great image today. A truly great Australian. And tonight he is our final frame. There he is. He climbed today, believe it or not, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, which was an incredible effort. He's used to a lot of marathons, this man. But that was 1,332 stairs this morning. Three-time Paralympic gold medalist, two-time Commonwealth Games medalist, Kurt Fearnley. Also our 2019 New South Wales Australian of the Year. Certainly an advocate for many Australians, but obviously for people with disabilities. And he's won over 30 marathons, including New York, Chicago, London. Quite extraordinary. After that climb, this is no surprise at all. He said, I'm going to feel this in the arms tomorrow. I'll never see the Harbour Bridge the same again. But Kurt Fearnley, there he is, an incredible feat, as he's used to doing, with a big smile and happy as he does. And that's why we love him. So tonight, he is our final frame. Good on you, Kurt. And we know now he's gone on a holiday too. Well deserved after the year that he's had. Thank you for your company this evening. That is the latest from 7 News. I'm Michael Usher. Have a good night. See you.